Okay, so today we're going to be discussing Saga 2, the second saga, the second arc, I don't know the correct terminology, for One Piece. So I've now read volumes 13 through 23. It'll be on the screen. The second saga, according to everybody on Instagram, I asked on Instagram where the saga ends because it's hard to tell online. There's a lot of mixed opinions. But it seems the fandom knows what they're talking about because it was very unanimously, this is where it ends, which made sense. Once I got to the end, it very much felt like the end of this particular arc. So I know that I'm way behind all you One Piece fans. So what I'm going to do first in this review is I'm going to give you the key point highlights, beats, things that happened. And then for as far as plotline goes, and then I'm going to talk about some things that I loved, some things that I didn't love, and overall how I felt. It's all going to be spoilers because I'm going to be pairing everything I say with images from the manga, so spoiler filled. If you want to know my opinion spoiler free, the answer is I'm very much enjoying reading this. Now spoilers. So Saga 2 is Alabasta, I think is how you pronounce that. I'm gonna do my best, you guys. Don't like that. I'm gonna do my best, you guys, to pronounce these things, but I've never seen the anime, so I know now that it's Luffy and not Luffy. Please continue to correct me if I'm continuing to get any names wrong because I want to say them correctly. So, here we go. On our journey, our first sidetrack, our first detour, our first side adventure is when we go to the island where these two giants have been fighting for, I don't even remember now, hundreds of years. They've been fighting for a really long time, and they just every single day fight each other all day long. And because of their shenanigans, there's a problem. So, and the fighting stops, and both Luffy and Usopp are very upset about this and intentional about helping them out. And then through that, then they get into a conundrum where most of the team, or a lot of the team, is getting turned into wax, and they have to work their way out of that. We meet some really interesting antagonists, like the girl with the paint. And if she hits you with different colors of paint, it affects people differently. Like Luffy just starts laughing ridiculously when he gets hit with a certain color. It's all fun. Then Nami gets very, very sick. They end up in an area where they find out that there's a witch doctor that they can go to potentially help her. So I think Sanji is how you say his name, and Luffy trek up a mountain in the snow. Luffy can't feel the cold because Luffy is Luffy. Carrying Nami to get to the witch doctor. More craziness ensues. Then after they're done with the witch doctor, they get back on track to get to Alabasta. They have to trek through the desert, which is very hot, which again, Luffy actually is affected by it this time. They're very hot, they're very dehydrated, they're very unhappy with their current situation till they finally get there, and then the longest fight ever ensues. That's like bullet points, really, really quick, what happened plot-wise. I really enjoyed this arc as well. We now have Vivi is maybe how you say her name, the princess of Alabasta, who's with us. I love her. She is so strong. My gal. Once again, we have really strong friendships, character dynamics between this group. They still don't really fit just right. They're still constantly getting on each other's nerves, snapping at each other, and Luffy is oblivious to it all. He's just having a good time. He's just going for his dreams and expects everybody else is as happy as he is. But we have so many really fun and hilarious moments throughout this entire thing. Just so many panels that I have to just stop and laugh at, as well as a ton of hilarious character dialogue and character dynamics. As far as characters go right now, I think my favorites are Zolo, which you guys told me is actually Zoro in the original translation, and they changed it. So I'm going to say Zoro out of respect for the fans that seem to like that better. So Zoro is my favorite, I think. Or one of my, no, he's not my favorite. He's one of my favorites. He's on my list. I love him because he's like the strong, quiet background type, and whenever he does speak up, it's usually to mock someone, it's usually to laugh that someone's missed some sort of social cue, or it's to volunteer to cut his legs off because he's such an extremist. Like, he's always ready to fight. He's always ready to defend. And whenever he is ready to defend, he's like, I'll just cut my legs off. And then we'll go from there. Because then I'll be free and it'll be fine. It's like, then what? Then what, Zorro? And then when they find another way out of the predicament that they're in, I'm specifically talking about when they were getting turned into wax. When they find a different way out, and then they're like, you're bleeding, man. And he's like, oh, yeah, I've already halfway hacked through my legs. No worries. He'll be fine. It's just like, oh, and then whenever they were at the witch doctor thing, he he decides to go for a nice quick winter swim and then ends up in the wrong area, and just like everything, I don't know, he's one of those characters that I think is easy to just fade into the background because you could go chapters and chapters without really even acknowledging his presence. He's just smirking in the background, but then every time he talks, it's just this very I don't know, it's funny. He cracks me up. Luffy is, of course, one of my favorite characters still. His carefree, doe-eyed look on the world. He's so ambitious and he's so determined to fight for his dreams and to fight for his friends. And he's so loyal, and he's just so, I don't know, I guess, so absurdism is not my genre. And when I started this, I didn't realize it was absurdism, and it took me a while to get okay with the nonsense that happens in this story and this world. But I think I'm fine with it now because I think Luffy is the perfect protagonist to help me set the tone for what kind of story we're in, because no matter what's happening, no matter what's going on, he's still smiling and he's still chipper. Like, he's nearly died over and over and over again. The man's getting pummeled. I mean, he's practically immortal. I know he's not. I know that there's some ways to kill him, but he can get through a lot. And just the fact that he comes out smiling every time and comes out just as doe-eyed and just as hopeful and just as silly, and when the entire crew is snapping at each other and frustrated, he's just like, come on guys, let's keep going. It's just, he's the perfect protagonist for this story to make me okay with going along with the nonsense. And I really love Vivi. I really fell for her in this arc. She is another character that could easily fade into the background, I suppose. But when she is speaking and fighting, and she's just so strong. I mean, I guess I'm going to talk about it in a minute, but she's just so strong. And I just really like her a lot. I still don't like Usopp. I feel like a lot of people think I'm gonna like him. It seemed like that was what the comments were saying in the last review I did, but you know, he's just not doing anything for me. Some of my favorite things that happened, probably my favorite part of this entire saga, this entire arc that I just got through. I'm sorry, I'm still really new to manga, so if any of my terminology, if I'm saying things wrong, like using the wrong terms for what I'm talking about, feel free to correct me in the comments. Anyway, my favorite part of this arc that I'm in, that I just finished, I guess two favorite parts. One was the witch doctor. I loved her so much. This whole town, I was kind of like, I was back and forth of am I supposed to like her, or is she a bad guy? You know what I mean? Because she's going into this town whenever she feels like it, not whenever they need her, whenever she feels like it. I assume whenever her supplies run low. She goes into town, finds a sick person, heals them without asking if they would like to be healed, and then says, okay, now give me everything you have. I'm exaggerating, but she takes like half of their possessions in return for healing someone. She takes what she wants, and they have no choice. And at one point in this, she went into town, healed a little boy who they didn't even know was sick, which, you know, that's great because now he's alive and he would have been dead. But then she takes half their assets, and they're like, you can't do that. You'll ruin our business. You'll ruin our lives. And she's just like, well, then I'll kill you. It's just like, but then the kids started feeling better, and then they were pleased because they realized that the kid's life really was in danger, and you know, it all worked out. But also, this is woof. But I really liked her. She was a great character. She was rough and rude, and she was great. I really liked her. I thought she was going to join the crew. Did not expect the reindeer to be the one to join the crew. Was not expecting that. Again, absurdism, man. I'm working to go with the flow. But some of these things, I'm just like, okay, all right, we've got a reindeer in the crew. We're doing that now. I mean, there's a duck with us too. I don't know. But I do like him. I can't remember his name now, but the one with the nose. Anyway, blue nose. Yeah, it was a blue nose. I really liked him. Getting his backstory helped a lot with him being so dedicated to the doctor that he was trying to apprentice under, and then he traveled and got beat down and, you know, went through so much in order to find that one mushroom that he needed to save the doctor's life, and then it turned out to be a poisonous one, and the doctor asked the witch doctor to take him on as an apprentice. And, you know, I really liked his backstory a lot. I still am having a hard time reckoning with the fact that we have animals on our crew, but I'll get there. Some complaints I have for this particular arc, some things that didn't work for me perfectly. That final battle might have gone on for 3 whole volumes. I'm not positive because I read this online chapter by chapter and I just go on to the next chapter, so I'm not really paying attention to which volume I'm in, when a volume stops and when a new one starts. I'm just, you know, going through the chapters. So I'm not positive how long it went on, but it might have been 3 volumes. If not, then it was at least 2 full volumes because, oh my goodness, this battle went on forever. And don't get me wrong, it was really well done. We balanced the characters really well. It was very engaging. It was great. He did a great job. But it went on so long, and I personally don't need a battle to last this long. I know we have a lot of characters to keep up with and a lot of characters to see what they're doing, and it definitely, if it were like over in a snap, I wouldn't like that either. I guess I just wanted something maybe in between this long and, you know, too quick. But I'm that way in every medium with if a battle goes on forever, I tend to lose interest. But it picked right back up there at the end, which I guess I should have said this when I was talking about positives, with Vivi, which I still don't know if I'm saying her name right. Again, correct me in the comments. Vivi, I believe is her name. She, her speech at the end, I knew she would have to stay. It wouldn't make sense for her to leave as a kid, come back, fight for their freedom, and then leave again. It wouldn't make sense. I knew she had to stay. But I didn't want her to because I'm going to miss her. But her speech at the end was really, really beautiful, and her dedication to her kingdom is fantastic. So I'm pleased with the way it turned out. And she did ask them to invite her back on the crew if ever she decides to go back with them. So I hope we haven't seen the last of her. Anyway, back to the cons. Sorry. Yeah, the battle went on for a really long time. Not my taste. The author did a great job with it. It just isn't really my taste to go on that long. But then the ending of the battle was great. My other complaint is this author has a strange fixation with finding how many times he can take Nami's shirt off. I don't even know if I remember all of them, but it was just so often, like when they were almost turned into wax figures, and then she didn't have a shirt anymore, and that's what got her sick, walking through the desert without a shirt on, or walking through the jungle without a shirt on. Then that face changer guy came, and he was showing off the fact that he can morph into anybody's faces by showing each of the guys' faces on him, and then he decided to show off that he can take a person's body too, and then that time he decided to take Nami's body and then open up the clothes so that the guys are gawking at her. Then Sanji buys the girls clothes, and he chooses to buy them essentially bras, like dancers, uniforms. Then Nami is fighting off that one evil chick that's, you know, in just a bra, and she tears her shirt open, so she's fighting in just a bra again. And then even in the bathhouse scene, where at the end, Vivi is covered in a towel, but Nami's not. It's just like, for whatever reason, he has this fixation on getting Nami as unclothed as he can in any circumstance he can come up with. And it's just like, okay, come on, man. So I don't love that, especially because a lot of the circumstances are things that it's like people are gawking at her without her wanting it. Like the instance with the guy who was showing, I can take on a body too. See, here's Nami's body. And she's like, stop it. Like, she's not happy with it, but the guy's gawk and it's all funny. Ha ha ha. I don't like it. Anyway, despite my cons, I really enjoyed this arc. I love these characters. I love their dynamics. I think I enjoyed the first saga more than I enjoyed the second saga, which I know is not the way I'm supposed to say I like things, because everybody says just get through the first saga and then it takes off. But I loved the first saga. I really enjoyed watching the crew come together and getting to know the characters and seeing their backstories and seeing where they come from. And this was great too. There were so many great moments, both plot-wise and character-wise, but it also is still a setup arc. You know, it's still getting us to the next thing. And I had a great time with it. I enjoyed reading it a lot, but I think I liked the first one more. I will be continuing on with the third. I'm excited to continue on. I will be continuing to review them. But my overall opinions are, I'm having a really good time reading this. Anyway, there you go. Those are my thoughts on the second saga of One Piece. Again, I'm very, very new to manga, so I'm gonna do my best to learn how to review manga because this is my first experience doing that as well. But I hope that you guys are enjoying getting my thoughts as I'm moving through it. I'm having a really good time reading it and will continue to do reviews as I read more. Anyway, be sure to chat with me more about this in the comments. I post videos every Tuesday through Friday. I'll see you guys again soon.